So basically, the point of this meeting today is to make sure that you have all the information that you need to welcome our summer interns. So if you are on this call, it is because you are a leader in a department and your department is going to be seeing a summer intern come through for a shadow day. So that's why we're having this conversation today, is to make sure you're completely prepared for those summer interns. So to start off with, I'd like to just explain the difference between the two types of interns that we have. And Taylor can also offer some insight into this as well. So the two types of internships that we have are summer interns and advanced interns. Summer interns are hired for a particular position that they will stay in for the season, and they work in that position 4 days out of the week. And on their fifth day, they actually do an unpaid shadow day. So they do that 1 day a week. And if they don't have a shadow day that week, they might be doing a special intern event that I put on. That's completely different than our advanced interns, who are hired for a particular division. They're more hyper-focused on the division that they know they are interested in, and they will rotate through various positions within that division. So if we have a rooms division advanced intern, they'll spend a couple of weeks, in the front office, and then they'll also spend some time in housekeeping and uniforms and laundry, and they're working those positions. They do not participate in shadow days the way summer interns do. Taylor, do you have anything else you want to add to clarify the difference between the two internships?
No, not at this time. I really the main difference is the division. The fact that the advanced intern is focused into the division and not part of the shadowing, like you mentioned. Like the advanced intern, we're hoping to be potential leaders for our property in the future. That's the hopeful outcome for advanced interns. And summer intern, it's really just so that student can gain the work experience to back up the knowledge that they've learned at their college or university.
That's exactly right. Thank you. So if you do not have an advanced intern in your division, then you won't really be encountering them very much, but the summer interns you will be. So the summer interns will be coming through your department for a shadow day. The point of the shadow day is that it is an opportunity for our summer interns to learn more about our property, the different departments, various positions, and those shadow days are unpaid. So they should not be working during the shadow day. It can be really easy to fall into, hey, we've got an extra set of hands here and we're a little bit short, so why don't you just jump in and help out? But really and truly, they should not be working while they are not being paid. They're there to learn and observe. The interns will even be in completely different clothing than the rest of your employees to kind of differentiate them. So we do not put them in uniform. They will not be in an ESA uniform if they're shadowing ESAs. They're going to be in black pants and a black polo, just so that we can kind of differentiate them from the rest of the staff while they are shadowing. The goal of the shadow day is purely a learning experience for these interns. It's to expose them to different areas of the hotel. And the idea is that, they've been in school, they've been learning all of the book smarts around hospitality and hotel management, but now we want to show them that real world application. How does everything actually function and work together? When you're thinking about a shadow day for an intern, don't think about it in terms of training or teaching. They're not there to learn how to do all of the different positions. They are there to understand the what's and the whys around that position. How does that position function within your department? How does it interact with other positions outside of their department? It really and truly is like unveiling the curtain. How does all of this work? I've learned it in school, but what does it actually look like in real life? And it's really not even to let them decide, oh, is this a position that I want to have in the future? Like, they are going to be observing positions and departments that they might not have an interest in exploring as a career option, but it's really important for them to learn how we all function together. So that's really and truly what it is. You can think of it like when you're at a dinner party and someone says, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" And you give them like a brief overview of your functions. That's what we're trying to do for these interns. We're not teaching them how to do our jobs. So what exactly should a shadow day look like? I do have several resources for all of you to get you prepared for these summer interns and their shadow days. So I've got a shadow day sample schedule that I will send to all of you that lays out how we in HR handle our shadow interns. So you can see that we always recommend that there is a designated person that the intern will meet. When they get there, you say, "Hey, you're going to start at 9 o'clock and you're going to meet with Marjorie." So Marjorie knows ahead of time that she's meeting with the intern. The intern knows ahead of time exactly who they're supposed to be meeting with. And that initial contact person will set the tone for the day, give them an overview of what their day is going to look like, an overview of the department, answer some various questions. And we want to make sure that this day is very structured and planned. So I will be providing you not only with this sample menu that we use in HR so that you can see how we do it, but I also have a template that you can use to tailor it for your particular department. As far as organizing the shadow day goes, I do want to clarify exactly where the responsibilities lie. So for me as the training manager, I am in charge of scheduling all of the shadow days. All of you have already given me your preferred days that you can host a shadow, and I really appreciate that. So I will be the one who is figuring out which intern is going to which department and on what days. So you don't have to worry about any of that. I will be providing you with a schedule saying ahead of time, saying that you need to expect that you are going to have 2 interns at the same time on a particular day. I will also open up the line of communication between you as the department head, and then also as between you, the intern, and the intern's manager, so that everyone involved in their scheduling understands what's going on and when. Where you come into play is making sure that you are creating that shadow day schedule for the intern ahead of time so that it's planned out, it's ready to go. We are asking this year that you send that schedule to me a week beforehand. We've gotten some input from interns in the past that sometimes they weren't 100% sure where they were supposed to go during the shadow days. So we're just making sure that we have a plan ahead of time so that the interns can have a little bit more information and know what to expect. And then the other thing that I ask of you is that you make sure that everybody who is going to be involved in that intern shadow day is prepared and ready to go. We don't want a situation where an intern shows up and you say, "Okay, you're going to be with Bobby shadowing for the next 2 hours." And Bobby says, "Oh, I had no idea I was going to have an intern shadowing me today." We really don't want that. We want to make sure that we're prepared, we're ready to go, and we set everybody up for success. So some of the resources that I have for you that I'll be sending to you after this meeting is that intern shadow schedule template. So you can use the one just like we have used in HR. It makes it really simple for you to plan out the day for your interns, and then you'll be able to send that to me so that we can pass that information along to our interns so they also know on the day exactly where they're supposed to be. I also have 2 guides for you. So we have a summer intern shadow guide overview. This is a document that is intended for the person who is the initial contact person on the shadow day. It gives them all the resources that they need. It gives them sample questions and ideas on how to lead that initial conversation. I also have a guide I will be giving to you. This is called the Summer Intern Shadow Guide, and this is a great resource for our associates. So as you are planning your summer shadow day, you'll have your schedule that lists like, okay, the intern is going to be spending an hour or 2 hours with a coordinator, and then they're going to be spending an hour or 2 hours with a concierge. As you're going through and deciding which positions they're going to shadow, each of those people can review this shadow guide. It gives them sample questions. It gives them a little bit of prompts for thinking about how am I going to answer questions about what I do? How do I show the intern how I fit into the success of DU? I would highly suggest that you review this with that associate ahead of time so you can help them get a plan for how they're going to spend their time with their intern. All right, that was a lot of information I gave you. So please at this time, let me know if you have any questions about what it will look like to host a summer intern for a shadow day. If you have any questions, please go ahead and chime in.
You said there was gonna be a sample of, or you just showed a sample on the thing. You said there's gonna be like what am I trying to think of? That you're gonna send out that we need to fill out to send to you?
Yes, that's correct.
The timeline?
So
Okay.
I'll send you the sample so that you can see how we've done it in HR. And then I will also send you a blank template that you'll be able to use for yourself.
Okay. And on those shadow days, I think in the past, like we've run into where they shadow like each position for a little bit
Mhm,
of time, or
mhm.
are they just shadowing a leader?
No, each position would be great.
Okay,
And I would also highly suggest that they spend some time with a leader. Um,
perfect.
and ending the day with a leader is a really great way to do it. So if you can map out all the different positions in your department, they can spend a little bit of time with each position and then if they can end the day with a leader, that's amazing. Peer trainers are great associates to pair up with our interns because they're really knowledgeable and they're used to interacting with lots of different people. And then the other piece of advice I'll give you is that don't feel like you have to have a full 8 hours. A shadow day does not have to be a full day. It really depends on each department. So I will leave that up to your discretion as to how long the shadow should be. Some departments, 4 hours is completely sufficient for them to have quality time with each position, and some other departments need a full 8 hours. So it's really up to you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think last time or last couple of years, we were trying to fill the 8 hours, and then it got around 6.5 hours, and we're like, okay, just get out of here. So that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Okay,
don't force it. And
cool. Just double checking.
in HR, we really did like it wasn't like, okay, you're just gonna watch what I do for the next 2 hours. We set aside time to, okay, let me show you what my job is like. And
Mhm.
I do understand that you'll be doing this in the middle of an operation, so some of it will be with associates who are getting tasks done. But if we could be conscious of the fact that we want to make sure that the interns are getting more than just, okay, let me watch you polish glassware for an hour and a half. That
Right.
they're actually talking to the interns and interacting with them and showing them the inner workings of their position.
Perfect.
Yep.
And just to chime in real quick, Stephanie, as far as ending the day with the leader, it's not only good, it's a good opportunity for us to also seek out feedback from the intern about how that shadow day went in your department, not just to
Yep.
necessarily hear what they've learned about the positions in your department, but how it overall went. Was the timeline good as we're setting up a structure? Was the timeline good? Was the person that they were meeting, like their meeting person, did they were they the ones that they met with, and were they like hear it from the intern to make sure that everything went the way we are expecting it to, and
Mhm.
that it aligned.
Absolutely. Yep. Any other questions? All right. So if there's no other questions at this time, at this point in the meeting, this is my intermission. So I'm going to be dismissing any of you who do not have a summer intern that you have hired on your team. So I have 8 summer interns. We've got a cook in the market, event setup attendant, front desk agent, front services agent, banquet server, and 3 market servers. So if none of those are positions that you oversee, you can go ahead and step out at this point, because the second half of the meeting, we're going to be talking about what it's like to be the manager of a summer intern, which is a little bit different than just hosting a summer intern for a shadow day. All right, looks like we're good to go. So we will move on to your responsibilities as the leader of a summer intern. So to start off, when it comes to the interns' responsibilities, because we do want to make sure that the interns are playing an active role in their internship. First of all, we expect them to attend those shadow days and any intern events that we have. I have tentative dates set at the moment, but I am planning a career day for the interns like I did last year. This year, we're going to try to add on a social and an educational outing for them as well. So it is their responsibility to attend those shadow days and events. And if for some reason they are unable to, that's just an added benefit for them and they won't be able to make those up at a later time. I'm also going to be giving the summer interns a project. This is something we did last year as well. It's pretty simple. We just ask that they document their time here, and at the end of the year, they're going to be presenting to usually LC members about their internship experience, what they learned, their big key takeaways. So that's a project I will be introducing them to when they arrive. We usually ask that they take photos when they can, and document their learning as they go along. So that is something that's completely in their court, nothing that you have to be involved with. You can always support them as you need, but that's something that is the responsibility of the interns. The other big thing is that I expect them to communicate any requirements that they need in a timely fashion. So if they need documents signed off on, if they need evaluations completed, we are going to communicate to them that they need to be communicating that with you in enough time for you to be able to fill out an evaluation. You know, we'll tell them that it's not acceptable to ask you the night before, hey, can you fill out this evaluation? I have to turn it in at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So we'll be having that conversation with them ahead of time to make sure that they're communicating appropriately. And then as a manager of an intern, your responsibilities, probably one of the biggest ones is to make sure that we are meeting the hour requirements that we promised them. So a lot of these interns have a minimum hour requirement that they have to have for school. And we have guaranteed them that we will be able to fulfill those hours. So we expect them to be scheduled to work 4 days a week with a minimum of 30 hours a week. If anything changes in their schedule, if you could please communicate that to me. So all of you have provided the best days that they can be released for a shadow. If anything comes up and changes, please let me know right away so that I can make adjustments to the schedule. And then the other thing that we ask is that you regularly meet with your interns to discuss their progress, complete any schoolwork that they need to have, and generally just have that line of communication open, making sure that they know that we're guiding them through this internship. Taylor, is there anything you would like to add at this point in time in terms of internship responsibility?
Yeah, absolutely. So just tagging into the hourly commitment, the 30 hours per week commitment. If the schedule changes for any reason as far as like business levels, let us know for sure. But if the intern is saying, hey, I need these days off, and it wasn't something that was discussed during the interview process, please let us know, because we've seen that in the past where an intern was taking a lot of time off and then she was struggling to get her hours, which not on us, but we did, that's the commitment that we say is we will make sure that they meet the hourly requirement the university has. So we did extend, like for her, we extended the internship just so she could get the working hours. There was no additional shadowings or anything. But just reiterate, just let us know if they're suddenly asking for a lot of time off for whatever. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've communicated with the interns that this is, important for not only for them, for their education, but it's key. I mean, it's a key thing that they're going to have to accomplish. And I've gone thoroughly through, like, if you have vacations and stuff planned or trying to plan those, what's the priority? So yeah, that's it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then as far as shadow days, responsibilities for shadow days, again, I will be scheduling all of those and communicating that schedule between the intern, you, and the leaders of the department that they will be shadowing, so that if for some reason anything comes up or needs to be changed, we already have that line of communication. So there will be a reminder email before each shadow day. And then as far as your responsibilities, again, communicating that availability to me if anything changes. And then, of course, properly scheduling them once we've gotten that shadow day schedule laid out. So I've got those pretty much done. I will be sending out the final schedules to all of you pretty soon so that you can go ahead and get prepared for your summer interns and scheduling them. So um, that should be nice and all done ahead of time. You know, last year we were kind of doing this as the interns were arriving. So my goal this year was to make sure all of it is complete and ready to go before the interns even get here. I understand that things happen in this business. So if we need to make last minute changes, we can adjust as much as we can. But just as long as we have a game plan going into it, that's my goal. All right. What questions do you have for me at this point in time in regards to managing a summer intern?
So last year in the market, we ran into something with like 90-day and 45-day impressions with them. And they weren't really geared to like their internships. Is there anything different that we might have to do for them?
That's a good question. So that was last year though, weren't they? They were kind of rotating through positions though, correct? Is that why
Well,
the
like someone like Torrin, sorry, like
Oh,
Torrin,
okay.
who like was here for the internship, and then we did his 90-day impression, 45-day impression, and
Mhm.
the answers that I forget some of the questions that we needed to ask on that paper weren't really
Mhm.
geared towards his like internship.
Gotcha. Okay, let me let me look into it and I'll follow up with you on if we can get a better document for interns.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? If you think of anything later, please feel free to email me. I'll be sending you lots of information about your interns pretty soon. And then before we sign off, Taylor, do you have anything else that you want to add? No?
Nope,
All
I'm
right.
good.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so very much. I appreciate your time. And I will have this recording available if you ever need to go back to it or if you need to share it with any of your leaders in your department as well.
All right. Thank
Thank
you
you.
all. Have a great
Thanks.
day.